At the beginning of the movie is a homemade car race in the Peanuts neighborhood. The competition turned dire when Franklin and Charlie Brown's car, named Friendship, flew off the ramp and into the air. The two friends held on to each other tightly to stay safe. Franklin breaks the fourth wall to introduce himself and explain how he ended up in this situation. Franklin's family life is always on the move due to his father's military job. This makes it difficult for Franklin to make lasting friendships. He finds solace in a notebook given to him by his grandpa, filled with advice on friendship. However, when he arrives in the Peanuts neighborhood, he struggles to fit in and is surprised by the quirks of the other children. Despite his efforts to befriend Linus, he fails when he accidentally picks a pumpkin from Linus's pumpkin patch prepared for the Great Pumpkin Festival. Along the way, he learns how to make friends more effectively, only to anger Lucy by mistaking her psychiatric booth for a lemonade stand. After leaving, he reminds himself of the notebook Grandpa left behind, detailing clear communication skills for making friends. He finds Snoopy's behavior peculiar and despairs of never making friends. Suddenly, a ball floats down from nowhere. As he goes to pick it up, he meets Charlie Brown on the beach. After a brief introduction and greeting, Charlie Brown thanks him and leaves. However, Charlie Brown returns to ask, "Do you like my sandcastle?" And the two quickly begin a close friendship from there. When they reach the sandcastle, he asks, "How do you feel, Franklin?" Then the sea waves inadvertently knocked down the sandcastle. He was very sad and sighed to Franklin, "Do you know how the ocean greets?" Franklin immediately replied, "It's a wave," both laughing in joy. Charlie Brown told him that he heard his mother calling him, so he had to go. Franklin didn't get a chance to say hello, and the meeting the next day, Charlie Brown ran away. At this point, he bowed his head, looking very sad. The next day, Franklin said goodbye to his mom to go out and play. In his hand was still the notebook his grandpa had instructed him with. If you want to make new friends, find where new friends meet. Walking a bit, he came across a pizza shop. He shouted excitedly, "Pizza! Who doesn't like pizza?" Looking inside, he saw Snoopy, Charlie Brown, and Linus, which thrilled him. Franklin was about to step in when he overheard Lucy saying to her friend at the table, "You should see him," scolding him for not even saying hello and then drinking all her lemonade. Franklin pondered for a while, then said he couldn't go in there and didn't know what to say. He took out the notebook to figure it out. Suddenly, from a distance, a voice echoed, "Hey kid, watch out." Seeing two kids controlling a homemade racing car speeding towards him, he jumped onto the sidewalk. A loud crash rang out, making everyone in the pizza shop rush outside to see what happened. Charlie Brown walked up and asked, "What have you guys done, Shermie and Harold Angel?" Shermie immediately replied, "We just tested the homemade racing car, and mentioned there would soon be a homemade racing car race. The winning team gets a trophy and free pizza for a whole year." The whole group got excited to participate. Meanwhile, Franklin opened his notebook, thinking about how to make friends by being the winner of the homemade racing car race. Afterwards, he approached the group of friends to pair up teammates with each other. Everyone else had already paired up and left, leaving only him and Charlie Brown. Franklin approached Charlie Brown and said, "Let's be teammates," and Charlie Brown agreed. While shopping for supplies, Franklin argued with Lucy. She teased him for teaming up with Charlie Brown and warned that it would only cause trouble. Back at home, they both started working on building the racing car. Franklin opened his notebook, then learned how to build a friendship by finding common interests. Charlie Brown and Franklin bonded over their shared love for baseball, and Franklin introduced Charlie Brown to his love for jazz music and space travel. Charlie Brown asked him which singer he liked best, and Franklin answered that he liked Stevie Wonder, Little Richard, and the godfather of soul, James Brown. Then he even played a record by John Coltrane. Turning to Charlie Brown, he said, "Jazz music has very consistent harmonies and also very improvisational sections." Charlie Brown listened excitedly, joining in with Franklin in the excitement of the music. After much effort, they both finally completed building the racing car. Franklin offered Charlie Brown a soda to quench his thirst. Charlie Brown asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up, and Franklin looked up at the moon and replied, "I could go up there, like Neil Armstrong." When Franklin asked Charlie Brown, he said he wanted to be a professional baseball player. After their conversation, Franklin suggested they have a professional handshake to prepare for the upcoming race. The next morning, both of them disguised their car when they tried it out. Franklin warned to avoid being stolen by the design during the trial run on the road. Across the way, Mercy and her friend were also planning the race. Over here, Linus and Pigpen had also prepared their sailboat. As they passed by, Franklin asked Charlie Brown about friendship and best friends. He replied, "In my opinion, a best friend is special and very different. It's someone you can completely trust and always support. Somehow, a best friend understands you even more than you understand yourself. At this point, Franklin realized what friendship was like. They saw Snoopy preparing his own race car. They arrived at a forest, and both started the first trial run of the car named Unstoppable. Getting into the car, Franklin and Charlie Brown prepared the car system, helmets, and seat belts for the first test. Franklin counted 3, 2, 1, start. The car rushed down a hill very fast. Charlie Brown saw the speed of the car running too fast. He said, "We need to slow down." And he also pulled the brake lever to make the car slow down. Franklin said, "You just pull the brake lever like this, so how do we win?" Listening to him say this, Charlie Brown had to let go so that the car could reach the fastest speed. Charlie Brown sat behind the car, and he sweated so much that he had to pull the brake lever again. Franklin said, "What are you doing? Remember to stay away from the brakes." The car reached a high speed and crashed into a rock on the road, causing the car to wobble. Because Charlie Brown was so scared, he had to pull the brakes as hard as he could, causing the car to spin uncontrollably. The car rushed down the hill, landed on the ground, and bounced up, causing the car to be badly damaged. Getting out of the car, Franklin blamed him for being away from the brakes, but he also said, "I tried to prevent the impact." Franklin sighed and said, "Forget it." When they spoke, both of them were sad to go home. When night fell, Franklin opened the book and did not see how to handle the situation like this. He quickly carried the lantern to where the car was broken into pieces. He picked up each item and said, "Heaven, now I know how to make friends in this city." As he finished saying, Charlie Brown shone the light straight into his face. Charlie Brown said, "I have never won anything, and I want to win this race." Therefore, both decided to rebuild the car overnight to be ready for the race tomorrow. The next morning, the homemade car race finally arrived. Both of them managed to be there before the race started. The race began. The cars sped down the hill very fast. Lucy and Schroeder temporarily led the race. Snoopy surpassed Linus and Pigpen, who were struggling to pull the rope on the sailboat mast. The sail car accelerated past them, leaving Snoopy in its dust. Snoopy, unwilling to lose, had to resort to his ultimate move, hitting the nitro button. The car shot off like a Falcon X rocket and soared into the sky, to the astonishment of his 4 teammates. Franklin and Charlie Brown closely followed Lucy and Schroeder in the lead. Charlie Brown told Franklin, "Hey, don't brake, just drift around the corners, trust me." A spectacular drift around the corner helped Franklin's car climb to the front position. From a distance, a girl accidentally caused her car to slide down onto the racetrack. The ice cream car blocked the road, confusing Franklin and Charlie Brown. Seeing the situation was too dangerous, Franklin decided to handle the ice cream car to make the race safe for their friends behind. Charlie Brown slammed on the brakes hard, causing the car to spin and throw the ice cream car off the track. They then flew down the hill and landed safely with 2 popsicles. The race also determined the winners, Lucy and Schroeder. Franklin stood from afar, looking at the finish line. Meanwhile, Charlie Brown was furious, because an ice cream car didn't win. Franklin sadly said, "There are more important things than winning." Both happily hugged each other. Lucy and Schroeder went to receive the cup when the surrounding friends realized Franklin and Charlie Brown had helped them escape the danger on the racetrack. Finally, Franklin and Charlie Brown also tried to finish the race in the enthusiastic applause of their friends. Franklin told Charlie Brown, "To be first, you don't have to win." Meanwhile, the surrounding friends greeted the two as heroes. Lucy approached Franklin to congratulate his brave actions, and then invited everyone to a pizza party in the evening. Snoopy also managed to reach the finish line to complete the race. The party was really fun. Charlie Brown stood watching, thinking Franklin wouldn't make it. Shortly after, Franklin arrived and announced to everyone, "My dad will take a new job." Everyone is surprised. He said, "My family loves it here, and we will stay here with this job." Everyone was truly happy that Franklin was staying. Franklin realized that friendship is one of the most precious moments in a person's life. It is not just a bond between two people, but also the foundation for understanding, respect, and mutual support. Friendship knows no jealousy or competition. It always includes sharing joys and sorrows, cheering, and empathy. Finally, friendship is a priceless treasure that everyone needs in life. It is a source of motivation, comfort, and true joy from those dearest friends. That's the end of the movie. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like and subscribe. Goodbye for now.